Hey, Ravi Lachhman here with Harness, and today I actually want to be taking a look at Tekton, continuing on our series of looking at different continuous delivery providers, just seeing what the experience is getting a Tekton pipeline set up, and also just doing some very basic tasks like deploying our buddy Nginx into this awaiting Kubernetes cluster. Here I have an EKS cluster called the Tektons, which I actually spun up with EKS CTL, which is one of my favorite tools for creating clusters here. And so wanting to take a look at the Tekton project, which is part of the Continuous Delivery Foundation, but let's go ahead and get started. So I want to take a look at Tekton. Let's see here. We might have to look at something else. So let's call it maybe Tekton project. Let's see what we get. Okay, Tekton Pipelines, cool. So tekton.dev, a cloud data pipeline resource declaring CI/CD pipelines. So the site is under construction, but we go ahead and check out the repo on GitHub. So let's go ahead and do that. And let's take a look at what we have going on. Let's see. So runs on Kubernetes, clusters, building blocks, decoupled. To any case, cluster run extension typed image swapped out. So how do I get started? So let's go ahead and jump into the tutorial. Before you can, make sure you have installed configuration for the Tekton Kubernetes cluster. Okay, so let's look at getting this installed. Nightly. So we'll go ahead and get it installed. Let's go ahead and just make sure we have access to it. So let's do kubectl get namespace. Okay, cool. So I have access to the cluster, which works out pretty well. So let's run this bad boy. Monitor the installation. Yeah, it looks like it's up and running. So, okay, into the Tekton pipeline. Congratulations. Thank you very much for next topic. Configuring artifact storage. To set up artifacts for Tekton pipelines, customizing basic XG parameters to customize for account type pod parameter values. So, OpenShift. Use ingest inputs from storage outputs to one or more. You can use one of the following solutions. So a cloud storage bucket. Okay, so I'll just use an S3 bucket then. Wait, hold on. So needs ingest inputs. So what's this? So I need to set up persistent storage place. Either option of the same function like taking a plan which best suits your business needs. For example, in some environments, persistent will be slower, cheaper from the cloud. The cluster is running in multiple zones. Yeah, maybe we could try it with S3. Let's see. The key and the secret is required. Serves just on. So apply config map Kubernetes. Let's see. Let's do EKS. Alright, so I need to use kubectl create instead of kubectl apply. Okay, so we can do a config map. And then I want to do a create on that also. Tekton. Go ahead and fill this out actually. So let's go and make an S3 bucket. Let's create a bucket. Let's call this Tekton storage. Let's add this in here. So I'll go ahead and S3. So I'm gonna go ahead and fill in these keys. Gonna pause the video really quickly and get right back to these. All right, so going back to the artifact storage. Let's see here. So I already I split off my keys. Let's go ahead and let's see if we can create this artifact map for what it needs. Hopefully everything is wired up correctly. And let's take a look at. Oh, I see what's going on. Error recruiting config artifact bucket already exists. So I did create a bucket, and yep. So it's in US East. Oops. And it shouldn't matter where the bucket's created though. They replicate everywhere. It's coming using an S3 bucket. Set to Boto config. Yeah, this is fine. Do I have to? Oh, maybe I have to apply it. How do you update a config map? Update config map because. Well, hopefully this works. Let's change this from let's change this from create to apply. It might complain that one's already been there. Let's see. All right. Let's see if we can't get the config map. Just double checking. Had to go searching for a command I had and something I actually run for our training class. Getting the config map. So I think this is it. Getting the config map. I just want to validate the config map has been applied. Okay, so config map. So managed name, Tekton storage, namespace. Let's see what it says. Resource. Config map. Config artifact bucket. Maybe that's it. All right, that looks like what we're looking for. So, all right, it'll be good to get that in the documentation there. Okay, so after we got that, is that everything we need? You can specify join values, default, timeout, pod template, use in task run to do modify the config map if they're desired. So like timeout from 6 to 20 managed by custom release Tekton pipelines. I don't know if I had to do this. Literally did. So specify default service account. Okay, if one got created for me, I'll just use the service account, the template, node selector. I don't really have to do this. Config default to YAML file. Example configuration. I'm just seeing what this is. Block sample. I mean, we can use your default. I don't see any reason why. So let's take a look at the tutorial then. So create a task, create a pipeline, use task run, use pipeline run. Okay, so before you begin, install and configure including cluster, including the Tekton CLI. All right, so I need to install the Tekton CLI. So I can install Tekton CLI with brew. So let's just go ahead and install. These are simple commands for me to install. All right, let's go ahead and install the Tekton CLI tools. That's installing. We can close these. Yeah, let's see. You can just run it. Make sure it got stalled. Is it just Tekton? What in the world? Let's see. Caveat install to what was it called? Tekton CD. Did I install it? I was gonna say it's already installed. Alright, well, not sure how to use the thing. Let's see. Okay. So we can make just going through this. Let's see. I don't really see. There was a word CLI in it. Okay, so not sure how I installed CLI, but what's in further reading? No, it's further down the page. So what's a task? Task. Hey, cluster sequential steps. Sure, the pipeline. So that's what a task is, and so sequential steps in a pipeline would be. Similar to harnesses pipeline and declare pipeline resource. Yeah, I see. A similar concept. Yeah, I think you can tie multiple tasks into a pipeline, which is harnesses CD abstraction model. Okay, so let's go back to where I was. So I was right here. So complete every task. So echo hello world. Steps complete. So oh, is it called TKN? Wait, hold on. Is it? Okay, this is the name of the seal. Okay, so I'll note this down. Let's just call this validate Tekton CLI. So is there like a TKN version I can run? Like, Okay, so I can run TKN versions. That's helpful to know what the CLI is called. Tekton. Is there like a sample, like, let's see, I'm reading someone's Medium article. So JX is Jenkins X, let's see. No, this is Jenkins X with Tekton Pipelines, okay. And Tekton task install Nginx. Let's look at Mr. Lee. Mr. Lee. No, this is the same. This is just the same thing they had on their tutorial. IBM. Let's see if they come up with like. I think IBM does actually a really good job here explaining this. I actually might use. I'm gonna clone it though. Keep this one, this tutorial. Let's see. I have 15. Create a sample pipeline. I mean, let's see what their tutorial looks like. We don't want to. We already have an image. I don't really want to mock a source to image with. I don't want to like look for some sort of scaffolding, which should be pretty easy though. We have to create it. Let's see. 2 steps. Create a pipeline. I mean, if this is the case, like, I could just run some kubectl commands. It's pretty lightweight. All right. You know what? We're not gonna even. I'll try. I'll try just recreating this with like Nginx, right? So, let's. Let's go to, let's create a task. So let's just call this like Nginx install. Actually, instead of calling it Nginx, let's call it Nginx task. Hopefully. In Nginx, I don't want to give it a command. I actually don't want to give it a command or argument. So let's see here. So we need to make another file. What do we call it? Kubectl apply. So just Boolean on down here. So we'll just call this create task. Did some cursory Googling. Let's call this Nginx. Go apply. Let's see. Let's run some on top here. Yeah, actually, not. Let's run it here. Yeah, let's list. Oh, whoops. Ha ha ha. That YAML, my mistake. Okay, so I made a task. I can do a tkn describe. And when I call this Nginx task, make sure I got it right. I'm guessing if like I have to update anything, I can just like apply it, reapply it. Let's see here, no input resources, no params, no. Okay, so I need to make another. I need to make another pair of objects here. Okay, so I will make a task run. Actually, you know what? I'll make this. So it's a little bit easier for folks to see. You don't have to do anything. Interact with the cluster directly. I'll do that. So let's go ahead and make a task run then. So describe the task. And I named Nginx task. And then task ref. Oh, I see. Okay, this is an object, and this is what it's gonna. I gotcha. Okay. And Nginx task. Make sure I get this correct. Run, and then it's gonna reference. Then we're gonna also have to apply the task run. Spelled correctly. Let's see that is. And the next task run.yaml. Up to 3 of these YAMLs now. Let's see. Task run is what I called it. Yep. And then it's go back to Nginx task run. Did I delete the echo part? Oh, I just called it. Okay, let's call it echo. And so let's see the logs. Maybe there's some startup information. If they didn't give any steps, it will forever run. What I mean, wouldn't that be so much like a deployment though? Like I don't necessarily need to like run it. That's a task. I need to build anything. Like, where do I actually go? Oh, there's no logs. Yeah, well, at least it's running something. I mean, I don't need to build. I don't need the CI portion. I need the deployment portion. I mean, okay, hold on. More complex task input to fetch some source code. Yeah, so I need to use this. Give it benefit of the doubt. I don't really want to build from source. If I don't have to. I mean, this is par for the course. I need to make a service account. I want to do a source image. What namespace did it go to? Oh, I don't need to do a build work. Maybe I have to skip straight to a pipeline, maybe? A pipeline. How do I just deploy to it? Deploy using. I have an image. Have image deploy Tekton. See what this says. This is a little more helpful. Let's see. Just reading. Okay, so I want to run this release. So basically, I need to skip to a release pipeline. If what? Okay, is it in the tutorial then? It is coming up at lunchtime. I might take a lunch break and come back to this actually. So back after lunch, let's take a look at the tutorials again. So let's see where we stopped. So we stopped. We didn't need to execute any sort of task with the task run. So had a little time to digest some food and digest some of the topics. So we already ran our task with the task run. And then let's say we need to take a look. Actually, we went too far. We need to make a pipeline. So we don't need to make task input and outputs because we're not going to be leveraging, at least for now, trying to not leverage a GetOps model as best we can. Maybe we could take a look. I mean, what is scaffold? Let's take a look at what the pipeline, what the tool actually looks like here. Oh, well, for scaffold, right? So not necessarily the scaffold, or not necessarily a scaffold, but the scaffold. All right. We'll wait for that. Image resources, executing task. Arguments. So yeah, I could give a Docker file or Docker compose. Okay, now I'm getting confused again. So Tekton Pipelines tutorial. So we've gotten we're gonna skip this one. Sorry, I could keep going back. I'm just having a little difficulty figuring out what's the right next step. Task, substitution task. Now, don't need to execute the task per se. I'm not doing a build. I already have a pre-existing image, which maybe not. We might not be flexing the CI portion of Tekton as much as we could. Task columns. So we don't need to. I'm just reading the task. Do I have to use scaffold? So Tekton is using scaffold to actually push. So it's like Jenkins using Maven deploy. Is that what we need? Yeah, here we go. So, okay. So what exactly after building artifact do I have to use scaffold? So okay, let's do this. So we'll skip the portion. So this is what I want to look at. Creating and running a pipeline. Define a series of tasks. So here's an example. I mean, I don't really want to run. So yeah, if I just want to wrap it in a pipeline, let's see. Let's take a look at. Is there a example? Is this the bare minimum that I need to do to run a pipeline? Let's see here. This is the bare minimum. I need to do. I'll try to go for gold. So like, I think the next step would just be running like a pipeline, right? So after let's like wrap the task in a pipeline. Copy that in. See if you can't make another pipeline run or pipeline file. So we'll go ahead and wrap it in a pipeline. In the meantime, though, to make sure we can validate, I did add a few helper methods here. So just giving the EKS CTL commands how to use to create the cluster. If you want to delete the cluster, Let's go ahead and just add the Kubernetes dashboard. So just if we want to take a look at us adding the dashboard for us. So that should be installed. If we need to grab anything else, we can run that at a later time. So let's go ahead and say we want pipeline with no parameters. So I want a very, very basic one. Okay, so this is all I did, right? Up until the spec. So where was it? So that was that. So I just need to up until the spec. We'll just call this pipeline. Pipeline.yaml. And this is all I need. So I don't really need to give any parameters. I can just give it a task. Let's just call this Nginx X Pipeline. So we're being similar name. Nginx X Pipeline. And then if we had the task reference, was it? Did you just call it Nginx task, maybe? Yeah, so no, I'm not sure the difference. Pipeline task. Can I run that as like a bare minimum? Maybe. Let's see how this works out. And I'll just call this one. I'll prune it in the docs here. So I don't think I need to grant. I mean, if it's able to do a deploy, let's see if I need to actually grant it credentials. So, I guess the next step would be so kubectl apply. That's if I'm getting where I need to be. Just trying this out for the first time. Let's see what it does. So we created a pipeline. Can I get the status? Pipeline run long tutorial pipeline. So let's just get call this one Nginx X Pipeline. Let's copy this one right here. Why did I say -1? Hold on. Did I miss something? Oop. Let's see. Oh, do I need to make a pipeline run? Oh, yeah. Well. Okay, so I need to make another pipeline run. All right. Go for gold. Did I have a... Yeah, so make a pipeline run. Okay. I guess because I had a task and a task run, I need to make a pipeline and a pipeline run. So let me do that. Apply pipeline. Make sure I have the same type of, let's see, verbiage, pipeline run. Okay. Oh, I can hold off on that. You take a look at pipeline run. See what the commands are for pipeline run over here. Okay, so I just need a pipeline ref. Okay. So need a really basic one. Don't need a service account. So I'll take up until spec. Okay, so we'll take that. So we'll call this pipeline run.yaml. So we have two tasks, pipeline and pipeline run. So you have 1, 2, 3, 4, yeah. Configuration, which I don't think anything has actually been used. Like if I look at the bucket, like I don't think anything's been pushed here. I'm not terribly sure what will be pushed in the bucket, but we have it waiting there. We have some students today learning about the Harness platform. Let's go back to, that's all we need. And then we just need that. So all we need is pipeline ref. Okay. Come on, YAML. And I called it Nginx X pipeline. I hope this runs. Yeah. I think this is like the bare minimum that you need. And this is just we'll follow the semantics, so we'll increment it. So oops a daisy. This pipeline run. Apply the pipeline run, apply pipeline. Pipeline run.yaml. Let's see. Creating pipeline run, admission, pipe, denied request, mutation, connected code. Was that not the bare minimum that we needed? Oh, let's see. So it's YAML and I like. Looking for a YAML linter. So a YAML linter. The YAML validator. They must have so much. Okay, make sure that was invalid YAML. It's still valid. Let's see if that was any better for us. Okay, cool. So we're missing the space. YAML and I, we have a hate-hate relationship. Usually I need, unfortunately my MacBook Pro, I don't have the linter installed here. It just will put little periods for me. So I can't be counting spaces. So we'll clean that one up. Put it in our commands. So, and now we can take a look at Nginx pipeline. Run tick one, was it? If we get the status. I'm really curious what it came back with. I just misconfigured it. We can also describe. Did it not like it? Maybe we can. Maybe it's thinking, maybe I've done something with two, I didn't describe something correctly. But let me just take a look at what the pipeline describe. Pipeline logs. Get pipeline. Well, plan, lack of a better term. So I want to get the describe. There, we started. Guess it's gonna run forever, like. I wonder. We can take a look at the Kubernetes dashboard, see what's going on. Alright, let's go ahead and start lighting up the Kubernetes dashboard to take a look at it. So these helper methods, just getting what's needed in EKS to make sure that we provide the proper cluster role binding. Let's go ahead and get the auth token that we need. Get the token. We got the token, and then lastly, we're going to go ahead and just proxy to the dashboard to see if we see anything. More visual guy. I wonder, did it not take that one? Oh, I see what's going on. Reduce that one. I didn't copy all of it and to the launch dashboard, so I need to run kube proxy. I forgot to run kube cuddle proxy here, so let's just clear that one. All right, should be able, actually, for proxies. I need that. No, proxy. Let's go to this, our dashboard. If anything's running at least. Yeah, we'll use the token here. So let's go ahead and grab our token that we have. Yeah, I mean, it's running. I mean, I won't be able to get to it. How is it? Here has the pod. Yeah, I wouldn't be able to get to it, but let's take a look what, I think this is a good point that gotten kind of far. There seems to be a lot of steps. I mean, take away the helper methods here to get to the dashboard. Looks like there's a good amount of configuration. We have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 different files that we have here. So let's take a switch of gears and let's take a look at what this actually takes to run in the Harness platform. Let's just go ahead and create a new. Let's just go to app.harness.io and let's take a look here. I log into my freemium account, not my employee account. So already we're moving along pretty quickly. And to get started in the Harness platform, all we have to do is go and download a particular delegate. We'll go ahead and download a Kubernetes delegate. We'll just call this Tectonic, right? No need for giving it a name. We'll go ahead and take a look at our particular download. Looks like we had 1 or 2 downloaded, but let's go ahead and move it somewhere that's useful. Move it to Tekton folder. Let's go ahead and rename this. On torrent. We should have all what we need. Always stickler for cleaning up there. And let's just go ahead and look at the README. It should be pretty straightforward. All we do is cd into that folder. So once we're there, we can go ahead and apply the delegate, right? So we already configured all the secrets and everything we need to do. And so all we have to do is run it. And it might take a few moments for the Harness delegate to come up. We can actually look at the helper methods too. We can take a look at what the pod names are in the specific workspace or namespace, sorry, that we have. Harness delegate looks like it's just starting up currently, so we'll keep this in real time. That we have here. We can continue to check if it has started. Also, we have the cube, the proxy going on here. We actually look at the UI. Take a look at what namespace. Yeah, we have. Yeah, it looks like it's just getting started right now. Let's go back to default though. Looks like it's up and running. Let's take a look if it showed up in the Harness platform. They come up momentarily. As we wait, we can go ahead and add an application. So we'll just call this Nginx Quick Deploy. I spelled everything wrong. Our Nginx Quick Deploy. It looks like actually it just came back up. So Harness delegate. Yep, perfect. So we could have waited a couple more seconds for that. Let's go ahead and see how quickly we can deploy. So the next thing is just want to go ahead and wire our Kubernetes cluster together. So we go to cloud providers. Say we have Kubernetes cluster. We're just going to inherit it. We don't need to have enter credentials since the cluster is running. We have the delegate name called Tectonic. Which is funny. I got to give that a quick test. That was successful. And all we have to do now is go for deploying. So we have to, all we have to do is add a service, which is an endpoint. We'll just call this Nginx. Go into Kubernetes. We'll go ahead and add an artifact source from a Docker registry. We already have the public Docker Hub wired for you as a helper. So we'll still come back here. Docker Hub. Over to Nginx. Click submit. Should be good to go with our setup here. So if we go back to environments, let's just go ahead and add an environment. What we need, let's just call this a prod environment. We'll say it's a prod environment. We'll go ahead and wire up our Kubernetes infrastructure that we need. We'll just call it, let's call it Ravi prod, right? And we're going back saying we have a Kubernetes cluster. This is our CD abstraction model at work here. So, once you kind of build the pieces that you need, let's leave it at default for now. We are basically painting a picture of what we need. That is almost what we need. And also we just do a workflow, which basically these are the steps, right? So in Tekton words is your pipeline and pipeline runs that you need. We're going to just call this deploy or go for gold. Go for gold. And let's do a rolling deployment, make it easy. We're going to prod. We deploy Nginx and go into Ravi prod. Click submit. And now all we have to do is click deploy, and that's it. We'll go ahead and pick the version, notification immediately, and go woohoo. Click submit. Should take momentarily to deploy. Looks like a rollout deployment is executing for us. And it looks like the deployment is complete. Looks like we're able to run through all the rollout steps that we needed. We can take a quick look back into Kubernetes dashboard. We just double check that we have something in the default here. Oh, there it is already. We're already cooking with gas. So with that, I think that's kind of the quick tutorial for Tekton. Kind of my thoughts with Tekton. It's definitely still an up and coming project. There were a lot of configuration files that I had to maintain. I did not even touch on the source to image, which depending on what CI solution you're using you might not be able to get around if depending on how far into GitOps you're going. But it was really quick to deploy with the Harness platform. And also, like always, stay tuned for more of these comparisons that we have, and always feel free to post your thoughts in the Harness community. Until then, cheers, Ravi.